Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to compare the cameras of the OnePlus 8 Pro and the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. So let's get into it. The Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra is a glass and metal sandwich. Comes with a Gorilla Glass Victus on both sides and a steel frame and a huge camera bump. Let's talk about the specs. The phone has a front camera which is at a 12 megapixel f2.2, a 12 megapixel ultra wide on the back f2.2 again with a 120 degree field of view, a 108 megapixel wide f1.8 which is also the main lens, and a 12 megapixel telephoto lens at f3.0. This is a 5x periscope lens, can zoom up to 50x. I'm not sure who's going to use the 50x zoom, but when you want to, it's there. The entire camera system is driven by a laser autofocus which helps get subjects into focus really fast. So that's a plus point. Now let's talk about the design. So as I said, it is a glass and metal sandwich. On the top you have a microphone hole and a SIM card tray. On the bottom you have the S Pen housing, a speaker grill, USB Type-C port, and a microphone hole, of course. On the right of the device you have the volume rocker and the power button. On the left there is nothing. Now let's move on to the OnePlus 8 Pro. The OnePlus 8 Pro is a good design and that camera bump is there, but not as much as the Note 20 Ultra. It is also a glass and metal sandwich. And now let's talk about the specifications. So on the front you have a 16 megapixel wide at f2.5. Then you have the 8 megapixel telephoto at f2.44. It zooms to 3x and has a hybrid zoom to 30x. Not as much as the Note 20 Ultra, but I guess it doesn't make too much of a difference. Then there is a 48 megapixel ultra wide at f2.2 at 116 degrees. Now this is lesser than the Note 20 Ultra's 120 degrees. Then we have the 48 megapixel wide, which is also the main lens at f1.7, and a 5 megapixel color filter camera, which is for those Instagrammers, as I always say. So the OnePlus 8 Pro also has a laser autofocus, just like the Note 20. Now let's talk about the design a little bit. As I said, it is a glass and metal sandwich, but this has a Gorilla Glass 5 compared to the Victus in the Note 20 Ultra, and it is a aluminium frame compared to the stainless steel frame there. So the right of the phone has the mute switch and power button. The bottom has the USB Type-C SIM card tray and the speaker grill along with a microphone hole. On the left we have the volume rocker. Now that's all with the design. Before we get into the actual comparison, do subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to get notified. Both the phones have a lot of modes to explore, right from a pro mode to photo to the normal panorama and other modes. The Samsung has an extra mode which is a single take, which is quite interesting. Both have excellent night modes, so we'll be testing out the cameras in detail, but overall both are pretty similar when it comes to the camera viewfinder and the amount of features you get. Starting with all three cameras, that is the main lens, the ultra wide and the zoom lens. I'm going to keep the OnePlus 8 Pro at a 5x because that is what the Note 20 Ultra will give you when you click the telephoto lens. And do let me know which phone is better in which picture. Now in the main lens or the wide lens, both the phones are doing really well. Both the pictures are really sharp and it is really difficult to say which one has been clicked with which. The Note 20 Ultra has got enhanced colors while the OnePlus 8 Pro has kept them as they are. Now the telephoto lens is much better on the Note 20 Ultra. This might be because of the 12 megapixel and the 8 megapixel difference between both the phones, and also that the OnePlus 8 Pro is on a hybrid zoom compared to the Note 20 Ultra. The ultra wide is pretty similar and both the phones have kept the detail, but the colors are still different. The Note 20 Ultra is a little more punchier. Here I would prefer the OnePlus 8 Pro because of the transitions in the greens, and the OnePlus 8 Pro does capture it really well. So let's do one more wide, ultra wide and telephoto comparison between the both before we move on to the 108 versus 48 megapixel test and the portrait followed by the video. So the main lens again, here you can clearly see that the colors in the grasses are different. The OnePlus 8 Pro is less punchier compared to the Note 20 Ultra. Though I would prefer the colors, but the OnePlus 8 Pro has kept the detail in the reflections really well. Now let's look at the telephoto. Here I've kept the OnePlus 8 Pro at 3x and the Note 20 Ultra is at 5x. Earlier they both were at 5x. And the Note 20 Ultra here just feels more cropped in, but the OnePlus 8 Pro has got a good lit photo, which I prefer. The ultra wide is better on the Note 20 Ultra. It has got better detail and a wider field of view, which I would prefer compared to the OnePlus 8 Pro. It lacks detail and also that the field of view is not that good. Now before we go on to the portrait mode, one last wide lens comparison. Both the phones have done exceptionally well here and I cannot find a difference between both of them. Do let me know in the comment section below which one do you prefer. Suddenly the OnePlus 8 Pro's colors have also come out and it is in comparison with the Note 20 Ultra. Now let's talk about the portrait modes. Both the phones have got a zoomed and a normal portrait mode. First, let's look at the normal portrait mode. They've done really well. The foreground and background detection is really good between both these images, but the Samsung has lit up the subject, which is the flower in this case, and I prefer the OnePlus 8 Pro here. It has got a better blur. Next, let's look at the zoomed portrait, and they both have done really well. I cannot see a difference between both of these. The Samsung still feels a little more punchier compared to the OnePlus, so it really comes down to whether you like natural colors or you like enhanced colors, but both the phones have done really well. Now let's compare the 108 megapixel and the 48 megapixel. So the earlier shots were 12 megapixel and now this is the comparison between the 108 and the 48 megapixel. As expected, the Samsung has more detail compared to the OnePlus and the colors are still enhanced here, but I'd prefer the Samsung here. Next, let's look at a video comparison. So I'm going to be quiet so that you can hear it. Both the videos look really similar, shot at 4K 60 on each. I have not gone up to 8K on the Note 20 Ultra, but I still found the Note 20 Ultra's autofocus better and far superior compared to the OnePlus 8 Pro. You can see the flower which is blurred on the OnePlus's video. These are the simultaneous comparisons between both the phones. Here you will be able to make out a difference between the stabilization also. The OnePlus 8 Pro is a little more smoother compared to the Note 20 Ultra, but that's me. But do let me know in the comment section below which phone do you prefer, and do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as usual, thanks for watching.